Welcome, Michele. It is truly an honor to have you on my podcast, Women's Power to Heal, Mother Earth. So much of what you do with your affirmation songs and music and the healing of influencing both left and right hemisphere of our brain is something that's been really true to my heart and my work of the last many decades, where we introduce sound healing in so many ways through Sanskrit chants, in fact. But having you on board, reading your story and listening to the work that you've done, you truly are courageous. It is wonderful to have you on board. And without much ado, welcome.
Thank you, Maya. It's wonderful to be here. I really appreciate it.
Michele, you came from a rock background, my favorite, of course, because I still listen to Pink Floyd and all of the British rockers that started in the 60s, my time in New York. And before I became a monk and all of that. But what I wanted to have our listeners, mostly women, hear is a little bit about your healing journey in your words, because we are going through such a traumatic time in our cosmos at the moment. And so for the global healing, bringing your energy on board to help women in particular meld the confusion, chaos, and differences is so very important at this present time. So I give you Michele Blood, a truly magnificent entrepreneur for the time we live in terms of healing ourselves.
Well, thank you, Maya. Yeah, I was a singer since I was a little girl on TV, and eventually I got a really great band together. We had a record label, doing videos, touring at one stage 7 years nonstop. I was the manager, the lead singer, and the songwriter. And so it was very, very hard work, but we did really well. We never blew a gig out ever, because I didn't allow the boys in the band to take drugs or drink. They would have been fired otherwise.
Lucky boys.
Because this is, you know, you've got to have longevity, and I had to look after my voice to be able to sing every night. So I just made sure I got the right type of musicians that were really wonderful human beings. Anyway, so my life literally rocked. But going from Brisbane to Sydney is about a 14-hour truck drive. Mm-hmm. And I was with the truck driver. We just finished a gig at 2 a.m. The road crew and the truck driver loaded all the gear up, huge amount of gear, because we just did a gig to about 5,000 people. And we had to, everywhere we played, we had to bring our own equipment. Anyway, I'll make it as short as possible so we can go deeper. But anyway, he fell asleep at the wheel. And as the passenger, I had extreme internal injuries and broken bones and pelvis smashed. I was in the hospital for many, many months, and it was touch and go a lot of the time. But what happened was people were sending me motivational stuff and spiritual stuff. And I knew about spiritual stuff because I mean, when I was a little girl, I went to mass every day with the nuns. I was so in love with God. So I knew about that, and I had that heart glow always, wanted people to be happy and no suffering. So
basically,
there was some, sorry, go ahead.
Basically, the gods and goddesses were in love with you as well, obviously, Michele. Your survival story is truly extraordinary. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as a singer-songwriter, I knew that you couldn't get a song out of your head, because what I was attempting to do to heal my body, because I was listening to some audio programs about affirmations. And every time I did an affirmation, I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. As the healing light of the universe surrounds me and flows through me, I know that I am healed. However, it didn't work for me speaking the affirmations, because my doubting mind kept spitting it out. You have doctors telling you all of these different things, and you have that authority figures, many doctors telling you. And so I didn't believe it. And with an affirmation to be just spoken, even written down, you have to emotionalize it for it to go into your subconscious mind. Now, science has proven this now. I've got so many scientific studies that we've done to just for the naysayers, just so that they can see, even if you don't have the faith to believe it, look at science. It's telling you that this really works. So I had a true satori, like a full-on satori. And, you know, it was like, I just got a download. You're a singer-songwriter, sing your affirmation. So I got someone to bring a 90-minute blank cassette and put it on my little cassette player, which I always had with me in case a songwriting idea came down, I could sing it so it wouldn't be forgotten. And I just started singing. I am healed, I know I am. I love myself, I am my friend. As the healing light of the universe surrounds me and flows through me, I am healed, I know I am. And I kept singing it until the cassette was full. And that, because I asked people to go out and find me affirmation music before I did this. And they said, there's no such thing. This is, you know, in the 80s. They couldn't find it. And we didn't have internet yet. So I went on to have miraculous healing, and so miraculous that journalists were coming out of the woodwork and interviewing me about my healing. Even my doctors were admitting, we can't really say it's a miracle, but it is pretty miraculous what happened. And so I started then recording lots and lots and lots of affirmation songs on many, many different topics, just for my own consciousness.
I love what you're doing. And I don't want to interrupt. The story is so completely captive. I mean, I'm held captive to what you're saying, and I could just track your journey so vividly, because I know Australia very, very well. I've done many tours on the Living Ahimsa Peace Tour in Australia, and I have played at the Byron Bay Music Festival in different ways than you have. My story, of course, was survival from ovarian cancer when I was only 18. But I connect to you in so many different levels and so many different ways. But I understand that the land between Sydney and Brisbane is so vast. And to be in a truck driving across the terrain of that desert is daunting. And so that captured my imagination as well, because I did try driving to the center of the top of that hill, of the native Aboriginal hill. It's in the center.
Illura.
Illura, and caught, you know, just incredible amount of insects to behold. But nonetheless, so putting you in that land, that incredibly sacred land, the land where those native people, by the way, where the sound value of your native traditional Aboriginals is so incredibly poignant, because, you know, when I went, for instance, to Perth, Western Australia, and this goes back to tie into your understanding and what you're giving to the world, your exquisite music for healing, which comes not from the heart, really, as you said, not from the voice, and definitely not from the mind, but from the soul of who we are. The music worked for you, and therefore it worked for everyone else, because it came from the soul of Michele Blood. And in Perth, Australia, I remember being by the Swan River with a group of Aboriginals, Bob Randall, who's since passed away. He was one of our very well-known Aboriginals, who's also, by the way, a singer and plays beautiful guitar. And he actually said to me, the song lines I hear in the Swan River from Perth, Australia to South India, and that's why you look like my people. And it was so phenomenal, because in all of the conduits underneath our earth, in the waters, in the hills, and on the land themselves, we have conduits of sound, of vibration, or universal cosmic vibration. And this is coming from the work that I've done, that tells us that we can channel them to humanity, to the animals, to the forest, to the ocean. So I love your voice. It's so exquisite. And if you don't mind, this is not a typical conversation, Michele. I'm so pleased to have you in Women's Power to Heal Mother Earth, because I do believe that it is the Shakti voice, the feminine divine primordial voice that is going to help us to form the foundation that shifts us from that old pattern of patriarchal behavior into a present, current world of healing, of loving, of kindness, and of everything you're giving to the world. I was listening to one of your magnet affirmations. I am a magnet for money, and I didn't get to tune, but I love the recording on that. I'd love to hear you do one. I'm a magnet for love as well, but nonetheless.
Oh, I've got over 400 songs covering so many topics.
Oh,
For little baby children as well. I've got it for every topic you can imagine. I've got a song, and definitely so many. I Am Love is one of my favorite ones.
Would you mind terribly? Would you put on the spot if I ask you to please let's have our women hear that I Am Love, because it is so needed today.
Can I?
You could play a recording.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just have to find it. So keep talking.
That's all right, dear heart. You keep talking. I don't want to take over our conversation, but there's so much to share, and just in such an open-hearted, in you have what I call a phenomenal soul mass, MASS, and what I mean by that, it's even when you were speaking the affirmation, the fact that it came to your mind that early in the trauma of your accident means that it was getting initiated even then. And it's not that we're doing it through the mind, through the heart. It doesn't matter where we're doing it from, whether we're doing it from the mind, whether the mind has a thought, because thoughts are powerful, as we know. But it becomes an affirmation, and then it gets deeper and deeper, and then it becomes you who you are as a representative on our Mother Earth. So, dear one, yes, a pleasure speaking to you. Now, I know you've done many, many apps. I have not had the time to investigate these apps, but I can see that they're extremely popular around the world. Do you want to speak a little bit to your current app, or the one that you feel pulled to talk about right now?
Yeah, I've got the song set up. I'll do that in a minute. Yeah, I've just got one app. We worked on it for 2 years, and I just didn't realize it was so involved, but it's really a beautiful spiritual experience. It's called the Magnet to Money app. However, it also has a morning meditation on different topics for every day, different one every day, 8 to 9 minutes, not a long meditation, but enough to get people into a space, and a beautiful sleep program where I'm speaking affirmations and telling people who they really are and putting them into a deep sleep. And of course, tons and tons of positive spiritual affirmations with the music. And it's magnettomoneyapp.com. And it's beautiful. I just love it. And we have, we've had people, millions and millions of people globally listen to all the songs, but I love it because it makes it easy for people who don't have enough faith to sit down and meditate yet. They haven't realized their true self or their soul, their diamond, and their diamond might be coated from past experiences. So that's a beautiful thing. But I can start the song now if you like.
Oh, we'd love to hear it.
Fantastic. Here we go with the song. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Yes.
Good.
Loud and clear.
I'll sing along with it.
Beautiful. I wish I had the lyrics. I'll sing along with you. Go ahead, Michele.
I'm in touch with who I am. I am love, woman and man. I'm in touch with who I am. I am love. I'm in touch with who I am. Mother Nature is my land. I'm in touch with who I am. I am love. I am love. I am I believe my soul to be living in God's endless dream. I believe my soul believes it is love. Heal me with your gentle touch, unconditionally with your trust. Warm and tender, oh, I know I am love. I am love. It's a little taste.
Wow, Michele. Oh my goodness, you could sing. You know, it's music is such the rhythm of our cosmos, is the underlying primordial sound. You know, when I do Om and I even Om with the cows. You know, it brings such a resonant feel, and your voice is so phenomenally resonant. It just captures the heart. And what a beautiful music. I'll be sure to, we'll be so happy to get that in this audio that's going out on podcast to my audience.
Yeah, we will send you through MP3s. We'll send you a lot of them, so you can just play whatever you feel you want to play.
That is amazing. And do you know where I first found your music? Was on an Indian website. An Indian interviewer, I don't remember her name, that interviewed you, and they had almost so many, I think about 30 of your beautiful songs on her site. I think the site was called Ghana, Ganaa, or something like that. But nonetheless, it is such a pleasure. In a simple way, because not in the chaos of our world and the difficulty, and in a system that can be fairly abusive to women. And I don't think it really has so much to do with the faith or lack of faith. I think that people become overcome, women in particular become overcome by manifold layers of pathologies in our society. And to cut through it all and make it simple, it's not even about meditation and contemplation and following the lunar cycles, which is part of my work. We do a great deal about the lunar cycles and women's healing, women's blood, women's menstrual cycle, women's menopause, women's everything, based in the Ayurveda system, an ancient healing system. But beyond that, cutting through, what your work does for me is it cuts through many, many layers of our religiosity, of our traditions, our belief systems, and all of it. It's not that the human person has more faith because of their own sentiency, regardless of our training, education, background, or belief system. And what I'd like for you to put in concise terms is briefly, not as briefly, but as clearly as possible, is one or two things that any woman, anywhere, from any tradition, can use to just listen, bask in the music and the vibration beyond your music, to understand who they are.
Well, to understand who they are, as you know, takes a lot of meditation. I found an enlightened teacher after 14 years of looking all over the world. And I actually went off the grid for 10 years and just meditated with her until I had my own awakening. And so with all the students I have in over 32 countries, one of the things that I found and is beautiful is it's women's time to become enlightened, because it's always been the men, even in Tibet, not in Bhutan. Bhutan, they love women coming enlightened. But even in Tibet, they're like, oh, gee, you meditate really well. It's a shame that you're a woman in this lifetime, because that means you can't become enlightened. It's just so weird how that is.
Well, if I may say, Michele, that's erroneous belief. It's patriarchal, inundated.
I know.
And it has nothing to do with it. But there is, in my new book, it's called I Am Shakti. And it hasn't been published as yet. I am an author for many books on Ayurveda and everything else. but everything else, meaning women's healing in particular with our lunar cycles or lunar connection or lunar, because our soul mass is tied to the lunar vibrations. What I believe, yes, it takes many years of meditation. I spent 30 years as a monk, 28 years, as a matter of fact. Then I gave up my robes and decided, okay, that journey is finished. And now let me, for my reason of doing that was really just to re-embrace my Shaktified force, my energy as a woman, my feminine divine energy. But I don't regret having gone through the education that I went through in the Vedic system of not only meditation, but learning the entire Sanskrit tomes of ancient healing, etc., etc. But I feel that, yes, it takes many years of meditation to become evolved, to have the enlightenment that sparks in your mind, for instance. But I do believe that music can cut through many centuries, many eons, in fact, of morass, of dross. And what I would say is that it's not just the music, but it's the vibration of you behind that music. And I, for instance, I would not do an app that says money for magnet because I'm not into the material, whatever. But when I heard that song, I was just completely convinced. I started singing it. I'm a magnet for money. It's not been on the top of my mind to be a magnet for money, or a magnet for whatever, for healing. Yes, that's been my life's work. But the beauty of this is that it was your vibration. It was that exquisite tone. It was the tone that no one else could produce except Michele Blood, and that it captured me. And it may not be money in terms of just financial wealth. It's money in terms of happiness, money in terms of love and kindness, money in terms of the awakening. And so for all women, educated or not, religious or not, and wherever they may be found, I feel that listening to your affirmation songs will awaken and invoke something within them that can
Absolutely.
help them to heal.
100%. Yeah, it's fascinating to watch it because the thing is, see, I did not do these affirmation songs for the public. I had no intention. It was just something that was created, and it was like it took me on a totally new trajectory. And it was Bob Proctor, actually, when I toured with him. He didn't want to work with the singer, but he said, as soon as I got off stage, he said, I want to work with you all over the world. I've never seen an audience so magnetized and happy. And he said, that's what we all teach. And he said, I don't know why no one's ever done it with music. He said, because deep spiritual religions, always have some sort of beautiful music, and I just adore the fact that every song was downloaded. But the Magnet to Money song, I love it because of the fact that people are so afraid of money. I don't like to see anyone in poverty, suffering in any area of their life. And if they can be a little irreverent about money, well, then they won't take it so seriously, because you've got to have what you want in your life to have a good life, but you also have to not have attachment to it.
Yeah,
So
prosperity, for instance, on the Vedic path, most ancient cultures, and I'm talking about earth-based intelligent cultures, really had that idea of prosperity as a central point to the four paths to our awakening of enlightenment, sentiency, and whatever. Yes, prosperity is important. We have the goddess Lakshmi. We have all of the abundance, the goddess Aditi, the nurturers. I mean, over 30 million, 300 million, something like that, gods and goddesses.
I know I've got so many of them. I've got Lakshmi right next to me right now, a
That
beautiful
represents it. And
gold statue of her.
the word money is English and has a problem, yes, but the basic thing is you're talking about prosperity, happiness,
Yeah.
the fulfillment of ourselves, what women can generate on the earth, not men, but women. Women are the generators of money. Women are the generators of happiness and prosperity and nurturance and kindness and all of that. And Here's what Jack Canfield, because many of my listeners would know who Jack Canfield is author of The Chicken Soup for the Soul. Here's what he says about Michele Blood. Her energy is incredible. She's a walking billboard for what she teaches, a high vibration being. I thank her for the work she's doing in the world. I love it. And she's right about two hemispheres of the brain working together through her affirmation power music songs. Everything moving in harmony. So beautiful. And his words are so exquisite. And I do know Jack as well, or knew him as well. So basically, that is, I mean, that doesn't say it all. I am not surprised that producers, musicians from any ilk in life are going to want to be on board with you, Michele. You truly are a lifeblood for all women listening on Women's Power to Heal Mother Earth. I thank you for giving us your presence today and being who you are, trusting your journey and having the courage, most of all, to walk it. This is Michele Blood, and we could reach and see more about Michele Blood on many sites. Her newest app is Magnet to Money app, app.com, Magnet to Money app.com, and of course, micheleblood.com. And parting words, Michele, a parting word. Thank you for that beautiful music. I'll listen to this audio again and again. But a parting word from you, my dear friend.
We've got our best-selling music and books and everything as a giveaway to your listeners, micheleblood.com/women's power. If anyone would like to receive over $300 worth of products for free, just to experiment with it. And I just wanted to say to everyone,
to the podcast, yes.
No matter who you are, no matter what culture you're from, I have taught in over 26 countries, and I lived in Malaysia for 3.5 years. And, you know, some of the Muslim women became my best friends, you know, and it doesn't matter what your cultural belief is. You have the power within you, women. You have it. It is the time to shine right now. What Maya has been talking about and the way she's supporting women, I just know that Yogananda and Rama are so pleased because of the fact that they knew it was women's turn to not to stand in the shadow of the light, but to be the light. So God bless you all, and thank you so much, Maya.
Thank you, Michele, and God has blessed you too, dear heart. Lovely to have you. We hope to see you again in the future on Women's Power to Heal Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you.